All right, good evening, everyone. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda for this evening for May 12th, 2025.
David Kelly.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. So we have some recognitions that we would like to start with. So the first one is the Middle School STEM Expo and Science Fair. And we'd like to invite James Hutchins, the middle school science teacher, to please come up and share the fabulous news with us.
There we go. All right, good evening. I'm Jim Hutchins. I have the pleasure of being a 7th grade science teacher. And I was coming tonight to tell you guys about the recent Middle School STEM Expo Science Fair that was held on the evening of Thursday, April 24th. This is the biggest thing they do with 7th grade science. It's a multi-assignment project that they start working on in October. For this, the students had to research a topic, plan a controlled experiment, conduct the experiment, collect their data, write up a conclusion, and create a tripod to share their results. We had a great event with 42 different projects involving dogs, cats, goats, chickens, bikes, cookies, footballs, basketballs, soccer balls, skis, volleyballs, and Madagascar hissing cockroaches, among other things. So I want to congratulate all the participants for their hard work. In particular, I want to recognize, actually before I get to that, I also want to thank our volunteer judges. I don't judge them because I'm too close to them at that point. And so I have people from the community, staff at the school, members of the high school science club who come in and judge. And they generally spend 1 to 2 hours judging. So it is a significant volunteer thing. So I'd like to recognize Robert Bushnell, Todd Hilgendorf, Zoe Hutchins, Isabella Kazanian, Margaret Kelly, Paul Kelly, Claire Lounsbury, Karen Manning, Gavin Morey, Michael Profero, Evan Snyder, Jill Snyder, and Layton Sutton for their volunteer work. So we had 6 honorable mentions. Some of the people are here tonight, some of them are not, but I'm going to read them all out. In any event, if you're here when I read your name, please come on up. Logan Arvidsson and Jalen Greer for their project, What Gaming Consoles Do People Prefer, Xbox or PlayStation based on their age? Helen Corcoran and Hana Sachi for which is easier to train, dogs or cats? I apologize. You know, I never say these kids' last names where I'm on a first name basis with them, so sometimes I'm not sure how to pronounce everyone's last name. Madison Suzuki and Breslin Rowe, goat's favorite food. Breslin actually brought in some baby goats for that, which was fun. Jacob Knott and Raul Pagan for how does the air pressure in the basketball affect how high the ball bounces? Mila LaChance and Layla Cruz for do the 5 liquids have the same surface tension? Yeah, turn around face so they can see your smiling faces. Okay. Adeline Warrior and Eliza Trinka for what's the most accurate serve in volleyball? Third place for Tallulah Sutton and Katie Tabby for I wonder if fingerprints will look similar if you are blood relatives. Second place for Silas McEnany for what is the best way to kick a soccer ball? first place to Mason Bell and Chris Brown for Does Your Grip Affect Spin on a Baseball? Just to clarify, Chris was not injured in doing his experiment. All right, thank you very much, everyone.
Deb, can I get a quick picture of you guys, please?
You guys, you got closer to No, I can stand behind you guys.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's why she can leave now if you want.
Well, before you guys do leave, I just want to thank you for your hard work and your dedication. I know that this is a fun project for you guys with some fascinating topics, so thank you for sharing them with us.
And I should mention, they're set up over there for people to look at.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchins.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me take a picture by the thing. Yeah, I could go to the beginning.
Yes.
You got this.
They're all signed.
Well, that's wonderful, Jim. It's great to see the interest that you're able to get them involved in really starting out as future scientists, so thank you for that. With that, I'll turn it over to Mike Bennett, and you have the NISBA Board Awards.
Yeah, so this is also not just for our students and the wonderful work that they do. NISBA does recognize board members who have gone above and beyond and have attended a certain amount of PD, conferences, webinars, those types of things. So this year, we've got 2 Board of Education members who have raised to level 1 is raised to level 2, the other to level 3. Again, this is based on their attendance in different conferences and at during webinars and things. So first I'd like to congratulate is Kelly Hibicki for reaching level 2 for her time and commitment to the Board of Education and to the Greenville Central School District. So thank you, Kelly. Our next award goes to someone who has achieved level 3. So with level 3, it's a certain amount of hours that they've gotten and attended certain things. So with this comes 1 complimentary training, a certificate, and a nice little paper keeper. So this is for Tracy. And they say you guys don't get paid. No, I do want to joke, but I do recognize the amount of commitment that you folks put into being a board member with very little recognition. So it's nice that NISBA has this a way to track what folks are involved in. And I'm proud this year to have 2 folks who have reached certain levels. So thank you.
You are very welcome. It's for a great cause, I would say, and just being able to constantly learn new things because it's constantly changing. And I like webinars. All right, so I'm going to move us on to the open forum. And the Greenville Central School District wishes to facilitate public access to meetings of the Board of Education and to provide an opportunity for public comment at these meetings. Accordingly, the open forum provides an opportunity for members of the public to share thoughts about topics on the agenda. An individual's comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Additionally, comments may be emailed to the district clerk, Daphne Pearson, using the email pearsond@greenvillecsd.org. In order for an email to be read during the meeting, it must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting and state that the email is to be read out loud. Emails shall be limited to 600 words. Please note, this is not the time to register complaints that need to be addressed confidentially through the proper channels. Remarks that might be considered defamatory, obscene, profane, stigmatizing, or otherwise impermissible in public forums are prohibited and will be declared out of order. Board members actively listen during open forum but may not immediately respond to comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Do we have any emails?
We do not.
Okay, then I am going to move us on to our discussion items. The first one we have is a budget recap, and I will turn it over to you, Mike.
All right, so again, not a lot more to be said at this point, other than the fact that the state did, in fact, pass a budget. We heard whispers about a week or two ago that this was coming down, and we have got the results of where we stand, so we're in a pretty good spot. I think we got a little bit lower than what we had anticipated, but at the end, it doesn't really affect how we are going to go out with our budget. So we move forward to budget vote. Any questions about state runs or anything like that? Okay.
All right, and so you also have next the capital project update.
We're just moving through these pretty quick now, aren't we? We had our district facilities meeting, committee meeting last week, in which we had the opportunity to use one of the new high school art rooms, which was a nice little showcase for the committee members to see where and how things are looking. We had a presentation by Schoolhouse construction management team and with SEI, and they just kind of went through where we were at, gave the committee an update on work that's happened in the spring, currently happening, work that went on over the winter time, talked about some advantages of some of the work that got done over break with getting into spaces, talked about our second shift at the elementary school, where it's really allowed us to, in empty spaces, really start to make headway on the redesign on some of those spots. So we also had Janine Rothler there, who is working in our new music space at the elementary school, and talk about some of the things that she's really enjoying as part of her new spaces. So it was a good meeting. We are, the question was asked, are we on time, on schedule? And the answer was yes. We should have the project itself pretty much wrapped up by the end of August. There is that outlier that is the roofs that we're still taking a look at and working on right now, but we seem to be in very good shape with the project and being able to get that completed with all the tasks by December, end of December. Any questions on capital project?
I have one question. There's been a number of change orders, Mike and Todd, and I was wondering if we could get a comprehensive list of the change orders to date, what the work was, what the cost was, and if they could be attached to the minutes of this meeting.
And Dave, that's for the entire project to date, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll work on getting that together for you.
And one of the things that was included in the governor's budget was timing or some elements related to the EV buses. So I'll turn it over to you, Mike.
Yeah, so there has been an extension towards the start of the EV buses. It's been, it's no longer 2027, it is now 2029. Gives us a little bit more room. I know that NISBA, along with NISCUS and other groups, have continued to lobby for even more changes and flexibility with this. With that said, we are continuing to move forward with Cornice with our EV bus report. They are getting Last week, we got the report or the indication that they should be getting everything back from NYSERDA on Wednesday of this week with everything, comments and everything on the work that has been done. So we will have Cornice come in and move forward with a report for the Board of Education once they have that all set. We did get task 7, the rough draft of that, and that really just kind of spells out some of the costs and energy capabilities based on their work with Mid-Hudson Energy and some of the other pieces to the EV buses. So it's an in-depth report, and they're better suited to report out on it and answer questions. So we'll look to have them come in June.
My question for you, the extension of 2 years, did I read that you have to put in for the extension?
I believe that they're going to ask for you to signify that we are going to put in for an extension.
Okay, so is that a conversation we should wait to have until after the report, or do you want to start the process for that?
Well, is anyone not in agreement that we want to have the extension? I think all along we've been pretty much saying that that timing is a little tight. So why don't we just talk about it now?
I'm in no rush to go to EVs, so putting in the extension makes sense.
Right.
I agree with the extension.
Dave?
Does anybody remember this, probably not, maybe Eric does, and Tracy, the argument between Beta and VHS, right?
Which one did you get?
Right, and one was better than the other, actually, and the one that was not better was the one that was chosen, and no one knows why. And then the age-old argument.
He does.
We forgot the answer when it came to the pricing, and it was
Yeah,
cheaper.
yeah. The age-old argument is Edison versus Tesla, right, which is kind of ironic now, but if Edison had won, we'd be having a power plant real close to Greenville, DC versus AC. But my comments during the Meet the Candidate night was that I may have been misconstrued in my own mind. I'm not against EV buses, but I am against rushing into the technology because I think it will get better. I've heard that there's hybrid buses out, or maybe even a more hybrid approach to the whole process. EV buses in a district like us may be suitable in certain circumstances, and then you may find that diesel buses are appropriate. So I appreciate the extension. Sorry for the long. No.
Google it, Kelly. So Kelly, you're in agreement also for that. And I think what's important basically is that it be done thoughtfully. There have been communities that have been voting down some of the bond purchases, and I don't want to put Greenville in that situation. I think that when we have the extra timing allows us to put together a fiscally responsible plan that addresses our immediates and so forth, instead of just throwing it against a wall for that. So sounds like, you know, at least from the board's perspective, we're all in agreement to extend it and to see what other options.
And I think one of the big pieces to this will be, you know, the cost piece, because one of the things that we have to really weigh out is, you know, from a capital project standpoint, how are we able to do this in such a way that it's not going to impact cost payers too much. And, you know, we're talking 38 potential buses if we went all in by the time we were supposed to. So even with the money getting back from NYSERDA and the state, it's still going to be a very hefty lift. So.
Because right now, they're is it 3 times or 4 times the cost? 4 is my understanding for that.
I have, one thing I want to mention is that our current studies that we're working with some outside groups is that I would say since we have 2 years, not saying we still want to stay on top of it, but we want to be careful to not lock ourselves in, stay liquid because technology shifts. The needs are going to change, and I wouldn't want us to lock in on the studies now to force us to move forward with that technology if it does shift. So.
I mean, I think the study, my understanding, we obviously will see it in a month, is that how would we even go about doing it? So kind of taking from a very macro perspective, and then how do we charge them? And so like there are a lot of logistical questions and everything else that need to be answered as the technology evolves. So, did you want to say something, Dave?
Yeah, I did. Just a question for Mike or Todd. Because we all notice buses and they don't appear to be full of students. So I'm wondering how Mary works out the routes. And then what size bus she uses. Is the size bus determined by the potential number of students on that route? And then if only 5 kids get up, is that what it is? Yeah, I thought so. Not by experience.
What do you mean by experience?
At her, the bus driver or the busman's experience is that 10 kids only get on that bus. Every
Got it.
year.
It's every student has a seat on that bus. So for the day that every kid rides it, there has to be a space for each kid.
I believe Mary had explained it to me when I asked her that sometime, if there was an emergency, they have to have a seat for every student, regardless of how they normally get on the bus or not.
That's correct.
All right. All right, so stay for the student, I think the first step will be, let's see what what Cornice comes back with in June for that. So now let's see, we have, is it Melissa is going to give us an update on the Twin Counties. Come on down. We even gave you a table, Melissa, so you don't have to stand.
All right, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to give you a summary of what our counselor has done since January, and then at the end, just what impact she's had, okay? So she started, Shannon Richardson is our counselor's name. She started in January. In January, she met with our PBS team, which are our guidance counselors, social workers, things like that. They looked at the referral process, discussed how everyone was going to communicate, and then she hit the ground running first thing in February with referrals. So in February, the prevention counselor saw 7 students, mostly middle school students, 5 middle schoolers and 2 high school students. And then each month that she's been here, she's had at least 2 new referrals for students by the end of each month. She saw them weekly, and then she started meeting with the STRONG team, which are students in our high-risk program at risk of graduating. She started meeting with them in February along with one of our guidance counselors, just so she could get to know the students a little bit better before she started out on her own. And that has continued every single Tuesday since the first week of February. And she has about 5 of those students that participate in that time. In February, she also had presentations that she gave to the middle school and high school faculties, as well as the 7th and 8th grade middle school students on vaping. And she worked in conjunction with Linda Doherty, the health teacher, on that. In March, she had a total of 8 students that she was working with. By the end of March, 4 of those students had gone through at least 6 sessions with her and were discharged. They felt like they were in a much better place. She continued to meet with STRONG, and then she also started pushing into the high school classrooms, to the ELA, the 11th and 12th grade classrooms, to give presentations on vaping. In April, she had 5 students that she worked with weekly, and 1 new referral at the end. She continued to meet with the strong team, and then in April, she also hit all of the 9th grade ELA classes. So this month, she's doing all the 10th grade in May. She also did she attended the career fair. You guys might have seen her around with Miss Alakwa on April 25th. So she collaborated with her on that, and there was a lot of interest with the students that she had about, what does it look like to be a counselor? What is the difference between a prevention counselor and a social worker, for example? So she's really tried to expand beyond individual counseling so that she can get to know the students a little bit better. So how do we know after all this time, have we seen improvements in our students? So usually when we get together, we look at 3 indicators to show improvement. We look at attendance, we look at discipline referrals, and we look at academics. Are they improving in any of those areas, right? So at the end of all of this, we had 4 middle school students who have continued with her since February. Those 4 middle school students have gone through at least 6 sessions, probably more. All 4 have had significant decrease in discipline referrals. 2 out of 4 are now passing all of their classes. We have 3 high school students who completed at least 6 sessions. All 3 have had improvement in academic performance. 2 out of the 3 who were chronically absent now have improved their attendance significantly. And 2 out of 3 who were chronic disciplinary referrals, 2 of them have shown significant improvement. So each of those high school students has improved in at least one area of concern that we're looking at. So we're happy to say that 5 of the middle school students and 7 high school students have completed at least 6 sessions. When I've talked to the students, they seem to really have found a good relationship with the counselor in providing ideas for what they can say to peers in order to feel a little bit more supported in how they advocate for themselves, in not just with substance abuse, but also how they deal with that social anxiety that comes up in high school and middle school around those different issues. So it seems like it's off to a good start. I think if it was to continue next year, we've had it more of a part of our RTI intervention process. It was a little bit difficult starting halfway through the year, trying to get it off the ground so that people knew her. If she is here next year, she'll already have established some good relationships with our students. But it seems to be going really well. So she is going to finish up through May, so she has a couple more weeks with us. And at the end of that, we'll sit down with her and Tara and kind of get her, we get updates too all along with the PPS team. She comes in and she stops and she talks to us just about if she's feeling like the kids are really understanding, if they're expressing to her that they're making growth and they feel like they've got more support. So she isn't able to go into details, but she's able to at least share this kid is buying in, they're not. We have had 2 students who have been more reluctant, and we've found other ways of helping them and supporting them. Not every kid is going to buy into it. We had 2 kids who were on suspensions, and we said 4 vaping. So we said if you do this, if you could do at least 3 sessions, then your consequence will be a little bit less. So hopefully it'll continue and end the year strong. You guys have any questions for me?
One of the things, was this funded through a grant?
So this year it was not. This year it was free because that person.
Say same thing in my mind.
Yeah.
Free, okay.
Yes. She was already working with the county, but she had room in her schedule. So she was able to come and start working with us 2 days a week. And it was kind of a way of saying, hey, if this is something that the district would like to continue and you see it as being a benefit, then it would be funded through Questar. Purchased through Questar. So some of that would be given back to the district.
Is it in the budget?
It is in the budget for 25-26.
I think that's great. Not giving out names, but it would be nice to to possibly get some feedback from the actual students
Students themselves?
to see how they felt they improved or took it from their perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
if possible.
I can try to do that. They weren't very forthcoming to me, and I've tried to, kids will only share so much. But I think the general sense and from people that knew them was that it was a positive experience for them.
Melissa, you said she's here 2 days a week?
2 days a week, yeah.
So do you see, like, do we need more time with her? Is that a good amount?
That's a good-
That Didn't get to get into her?
That's a good amount, I think, for sure, yeah. Because it would be about 3 to 4 kids each of those days, plus strong time, plus any other time with the PBS team. And, she would always go out and build relationships with the kids outside of that too, so.
Is it only vaping, or are there other substances?
No, it's substance abuse in general. So it would go into all different areas depending on what it was that was a concern for the student, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate, kind of thinking out of the box and being able to bring someone in here that can help the students.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's see, moving along with the discussion points, we have the 25-26 student representative update, and I will turn it over to you, Mike.
Yeah, so I just want to update the board and the community on where we're at with our student board member for going forward. So working with Christy and Sierra, they put together a timeline. Applications for next year open up on Friday, May 16th. Those applications for seniors will go through May 30th. Committee will review those applicants on June 3rd, and then voting for the students will be June 4th through the 6th. And the hope here is to have the approval for next year's student board representative on the ballot, or on the agenda for the June 9th board meeting. So fingers crossed.
Lovely. Let's see. Next, we have internet-connected devices. I'm going to take this one for policy versus procedure. And the policy committee met right before the meeting. And as part of the budget, then we did get clarification from council on what exactly needs to be included in the bell-to-bell policy for internet-related devices. So the committee was able to come up with a policy that includes all the different provisions. Basically what it's starting out with is that all of the internet-connected devices, not just limited to cell phones, must be turned off and out of sight from the start of the school day until dismissal from school. There are a couple of exceptions, one being if a student has a need, a medical purpose, and it is written in their IEP or 504, then such as monitoring of insulin, different things like that, then there can be an exception for it. The second one, if there's a student caregiver responsible for the well-being of a family member, again, that allowance will be done on a case-by-case basis with an administrator as well as school counselor and other key individuals. And then the third possible exemption are instances when there's authorization from a teacher or principal for a specific educational purpose for that. So those are kind of the three areas that we have. There is in the code of conduct, there will be a list of, under the procedures, what happens if a student has a device that is visible, what are the consequences, and so forth. So there was a DLT meeting a week or two ago, and then they were detailing it out. The thought from the committee was that given that the cell phone consequences would be a separate page, shall we say, just to emphasize or really highlight that, particularly since this is a change moving forward for that. In the policy, we need to inform parents on how to reach their child, and so the committee felt that the listing and letting the parents know that they can contact the main office in order to get a message to their child in a timely fashion. So that's really the nuts and bolts of the policy for that. So next steps would be it'll go back to council for review, and then it will be on the June meeting for first reading. We need to have this in place, I think it said by August, so before the start of the school year for that. Any comments, thoughts, or anything else, or questions about it?
Question I have is probably the way I'm interpreting it under B, number, the third item. Say for instance, a student has their own notebook, laptop, as long as it's authorized by the teacher, principal, that way they just don't arbitrarily change on their own. It's understood and communicated that they're doing a change for their own purposes, say get a MacBook or something to that effect. So they would still be able to use their own in that case.
Correct, and we have had some instances where students have had more powerful computing devices, particularly with whether it was IB math or statistics and things like that. So as long as permission is obtained, then yes, they would have to be able to use it accordingly and so forth. So we specifically added that in to make sure that that was allowed, because we know that that is something that students are currently using.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
I have a question along those lines. They're still under restrictions though, it being, like, they can use it when the teachers say it's okay and so on. Does that allow them then they're not outside of the rest of the policy, correct?
That is correct. It behaves the way any other school sanctioned computer has to. So we just wanted to provide an update for everyone on where we were for that policy. Let's see. There had been some discussion about the proposed trip to Italy, and so we asked Mike to just provide us with an update on any additional details. I think some people were wanted more information, particularly about the cost and so forth, just to make sure that it's affordable for our students, because it's a great opportunity and we would like students to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, so I reached out to Kelsey Mayo to get some more information in regards to this question around finances and where we're at with things. So she got back to me and let me know that the GEF work and the Burke Foundation that really holds the large sum of money within the GEF for high school foreign language. They are voting on the amount per student that they were looking to be able to provide. Nothing's set in stone right now, but they're hoping for about $2,000 per student to go towards the trip. As of right now, there's only 2 students signed up, but I think the thought is that once we get a hard and fast commitment, we will see those numbers going up. The other question that came up was around insurance. I know that the district has dealt with this in the past in regards to trips and not being able to get reimbursed when something has to happen or when something's canceled. So basic travel insurance is part of the package, but families can choose to get additional insurance if they feel like they need to. They have not started looking at fundraising at this point, just because, again, they're still looking at what that dollar amount is going to be. But she will be looking to get additional support in fundraising, because as she had said last time, that's not her forte. So we'll figure some things out. But the big question will be, what is that big chunk of money that GEF will be able to provide? Because that'll make a big difference.
Because if they're able to provide 2,000, then I think that would drop the cost down to 3,000 for the students. If I remember 5,000 number.
I think 5,300.
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah.
I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, put it around $3,300 to $3,500. Hopefully they can work on that as well.
Yeah.
And the timing on this would be next summer, or or next spring break?
I believe they were looking at next spring break.
Okay. So at this point, about a year. Time's ticking. Tick, 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 tick. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Let's see. Okay, everyone, we have a draft 25-26 school improvement and district goals development calendar. Any comments or thoughts on that? All right, I'm going to take that as a no. And so we also have the second reading, the updated policies, 4210, the advertising within school district, and 1130 Board of Education Code of Ethics policy. Were there any comments? And this was on, we did the first reading last month, so. Okay, no comments for that. All right, then I'm going to move this on to action items. I'm going to combine 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, which are to improve, if I could have a motion to approve the minutes, and there are 3 of them, the meeting on April 7th, 2025, April 22nd, 2025, and then May 6th, 2025.
Dave and Jim?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the finance reports for the month ending April 30th, 2025.
Eric? Second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I need a motion to accept the Committee on Special Education recommendations.
Jim and Eric?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
Eric? Kelly?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
The first 2 parts of it, like, it looks like we're changing direction or swapping positions. I'm wondering, is there no longer a need for, the elementary teacher position was a reading teacher?
Yes. Yep.
And we don't need that position anymore, or it's already covered?
Well, one of the things that we wanted to take a look at, and as we go through the budget process each year, we take a look at where our needs are, and they change from year to year. And so one of the things that we saw a more pressing need was someone within this special education realm, that we had more students that required that service. And so that was the route we went.
What level was that position at, the reading position?
Elementary.
Okay, they serviced the whole building, or they were assigned to a specific grade?
No, the whole building. Yep.
So is that position still, is there still a reading position? It's not that you're cutting that particular position? Or are we not going to have a reading teacher anymore?
No, we will still have the support, reading support, but just not multiple.
That new reading
We moved from 5 to 4.
Kelly, that new reading teacher will be doing some special class reading too.
The special ed teacher?
Yeah.
Correct. So that helps to take some of the weight off of the reading position, because it's the be able to work with special ed students.
Do we feel that we have enough support, especially given that reading has been one of our emphasis?
Yes, we do,
Okay, why?
because we look at the numbers and where people are at and the way we're delivering reading instruction in the classroom currently. The new program development forums combined with some of our RTI work has allowed us to move into this direction where we were able to service a greater need with this FTE.
Is this, the special ed position, is this moving around in different areas or like a self-contained? Is this?
We're going to have flexibility with portion of this, yes.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Kelly, did you, any nay? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You can't vote that far away.
I know, right?
Too bad.
It would be an abstain.
All right, I need a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on the Board of Voter Registration for 24-25. Danielle Downs. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Need a motion to approve the revised 24-25 school district updates are as follow. We have some changes. So Tuesday, May 20th at the elementary school, no school for students. Then on Tuesday the 27th, across all 3 buildings, no school for students, faculty, and staff. And then Thursday, June 26th, the last day of school for students, was previously a half-day for UPK. Let's see, we said that. And then Tuesday, June 10th at the high school, regular day for students. So basically, parents, once it's approved, please check your calendars.
So does that mean there is no school on the 26th of June for UPK through 8?
The 25th?
No, the 26th. It says Thursday the 26th as the last day of school for students. It was previously a half day. So does that mean they don't have school on Thursday?
They do have school on Thursday. That will be their last
But
day.
it'll be a full day.
No, it's just, the new thing is that it's the last day.
Okay. I just need to know when my kid's going to be back.
Yes, no, in school, out, simple.
Set it for a half day on the 26th.
We'll have Sierra give you a nice little smiley face, okay, so to tell you.
Make sure the parents know what they're
No,
doing.
yes, okay.
That was the cut and paste from Sierra's email, so.
Yes, very valid, so we will make sure. And I'm sure Sierra will send out, I know she sends out reminders to parents for that. So, can I have a motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Second?
Second?
Jim.
Any discussion?
I just had one, go ahead, Kelly. if you
No,
want.
I'm just laughing at myself.
Just to voice a concern that we're changing the calendar and adding a date, and I know my friend will be upset, but we're adding a date to Memorial Day recess, and then that creates a 5-day gap in the student's education, and that's what I view as a critical time during the year. Some students will consider that to be the end of the year. It would be tough to get back for June. I think that next, every year happens, but I think to add another day on that should be more of a consideration.
We can certainly have the calendar committee look at that for next year as well, because last year was put on for that day to be, it's on our district calendar now as a potential give back day. So if the board feels as though there should be a different day that it's a board give back day, we can certainly take that into consideration.
Say, right, it has to be after, because it's give back day if we don't use the snow days, correct? So it's not like you could give it at Thanksgiving. I mean, that's where it came from.
Right.
Right, so it's not like you could say Wednesday of Thanksgiving or Tuesday or something like that. I mean, it really has to be post-spring,
Well,
correct?
with the new legislation now, and Mike and I talked about this on one other occasion, you know, on a heat day, and I think you had mentioned that you're saving a day, right?
Correct.
for that.
We haven't used all of these.
So,
Yeah.
that's a consideration as well.
Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the 25-26 school district calendar. And so this was a combination of, we went down to 4 snow days, we have an emergency closing makeup days, and then we had to change it because April 3rd was changed to a student attendance day to ensure that we met the 182 days of student attendance. So in a way, Dave, this flows into your question. Motion, please.
Dave?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I need a motion to approve the resolution dated May 12th, 2020. Did I miss one?
6:10.
Oh, sorry, 6:10. Moving along too quickly. 6:10, I need a motion to approve the 25-26 Board of Education schedule of meetings.
Jim and Eric?
Yeah, we tried to print it out, so I would put it on my calendar. Any discussion?
I already looked, it does not conflict with any of my vacation. I should be able to attend all the meetings.
Excellent.
Aren't you special?
Oh, so you're going to be president next year? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll send everybody an invite, so.
Perfect, this calendar, thank you. And make sure we show up on time instead of half an hour early. All right, I need a motion to approve the resolution dated May 12th, 2025 of the Board of Education of the Greenville Central School District authorizing the expenditure of $200,000 from available fund balance to pay for a portion of the cost of the capital project.
Eric?
Second,
Kelly?
any discussion?
Todd, could you?
Take it away, Dave. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, would you like to ask your questions first? I was just gonna say, if you could just explain so that it's out to the public as to exactly what's happening here.
Certainly. So this is at the point in the year where we look at current fund balance, so meaning funds that currently exist in this current year budget, and how to appropriately put them in reserves, account for them, use them in fiscally responsible ways. So this was an idea that came up in conversations with our financial advisors, Dunnigan's office, as a potential option. So we have currently money that we borrowed for this first phase of the capital project that is a bond anticipation note or a ban. So that was basically for a year. So in June, we have to pay back the money on the ban. At the same time, we're in the process of bonding for the full project, so we will take out the bonds also in the month of June. So this is using $200,000 from the current fund balance, current existing funds in this year's budget, that were not expensed where they were originally planned to be. So remaining funds in this current year, using $200,000 of those dollars to basically make an early payment so that when we go to borrow the money for the bond, we're actually going to be borrowing $200,000 less than we originally anticipated. The advantage of that is we're not bonding $200,000, so over the life of the bond, we're saving interest on that amount. So it's like an early payment on a loan is one way to think about it. To do that, there's actually two pieces. So this is a specific motion that our bond counsel office put together for us for the board to review and approve tonight. And then also already approved in the financial reports for board transfers was actually transferring it from certain codes in the general fund specifically to a code in the general fund for a band principal payment.
We're gonna bond 200,000 less. I'm sure we're gonna bond $200,000. But
Yes, we're bonding millions of dollars for the purpose of the project. It's
You are.
bonding $200,000 less.
I actually think this is phenomenal financial procedure. I would suggest that if you, I know,
Could you repeat that,
No.
please? You want to-
It's recorded.
if there's any, I would go more. So if you get to the point where 3.99, and there's excess money, I would come back to us and ask for, well, your bond will probably be already done by that, so.
Correct.
Maybe you could anticipate that a little bit quicker, listen. Because every dollar you save on your bond is gonna help out.
Correct. Long-term, it's a long-term savings. Thank you.
Any other thoughts or questions?
I'm very happy with it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the change order GC 028 Greenville CSD 22, so 2022 capital improvement project at the elementary school in the amount of $15,320 to Bunkoff General Contractors, Inc. for framing over existing partitions instead of laminating over existing partitions at the elementary school classrooms in phase 2 during summer 2025.
Eric, need a second? Dave?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve confirmation of services of Bonadio and Co., our certified public accountants.
Eric and Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the health and welfare services contract between the Greenville Central School District and the North Greenbush Central School District in the amount of $261.88 for the 24-25 school year.
I have to
Any
fix,
second?
I have to fix something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that doesn't match my number.
No, I will fix, I will edit, 6.14 where it says actually the subject. It's correct in the
Oh,
motion.
1,309, so which is the correct number, I'm sorry, Daphne?
We changed the date to.
Yeah.
No, it's for this year.
So the
Yeah,
correct amount
sometimes
is
they're a little
1,300.
late.
Actually, no, it is correct.
Yeah.
I actually have to check, I have to correct the motion,
So is the
full
total
amount is
amount
correct. Yeah, because it's for 5 students at the rate of $261.88.
for each student? So the total amount then is 1,309 students and 40 cents?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I get a first and a second?
Eric, Kelly?
So the numbers are right, or they are?
The 261.88 is individual per student, multiply that times 5,
Okay.
So the 1309
Little rounded.
is correct.
right, for that. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the health and welfare services contract between the Greenville Central School District and Saugerty Central School District for the 24-25 school year. You know, it's coming in right before the end of the school year.
We'll get Albany City next week.
Right, there you go. At least they're predictable.
Eric and Jim?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Jim?
I need a motion to award the contract transportation bid to Amazing Grace Transportation for the remaining of the 24-25 school year to transport a student to Vander Heiden. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah.
Eric? Dave?
Any discussion? All in favor? Yeah. All right, I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and the Anderson Center for Autism beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
Kelly? Eric?
Any discussion?
I have a quick question. When we approve this contract, if the student leaves the district, leaves the program, we're not on for the full amount of it, it's just for whatever they've used.
Correct. We get billed monthly based on the time the student is actually there. So student leaves, we stop paying.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the contract between the Greenville Central School District and Advanced Therapy, PLLC, for speech services provided to our students at the Oak Hill School during the 25-26 school year.
Eric? Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any topics for input for the next couple of months?
Like you said, we would probably see the EV bus report next month.
Any other topics?
Not right now.
No? Okay. All right, quick reminder, future dates. On May 20th, we have the annual vote and the election from 1 to 9 in Ellis Cafeteria. We encourage everyone to please come out and vote. Our next business meeting is June 9th, 2025. Normal business meeting. And then we have, let's see, June 23rd. Again, reminder, we have 2 meetings in June. So the last one in June is usually anything that we need to close up for our fiscal calendar. Let's see. So closing open forum, then please note the same guidelines apply as stated during the first open forum. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
If I could just acknowledge Regina Peterson, who is here this evening. She is been approved as our new special education teacher. We are very excited to have her be joining our team. She brings a vast amount of experience, and we are excited to bring her on board.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. It's always nice when we have our new folks come to the meetings, so thank you.
She learned from the best.
Welcome.
Long time no see, Mr. Fish.
If I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting, then. Wow, this is one of our faster ones. All in favor? Aye. I know. There we go. Yay. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Wow.
Yeah, thanks.
My husband gets home. He calls us and make sure you get home.